What's happening right now could change the face of the world, and not just a little. The United States and China facing off in a global economic ring, ready to trade blows with tariffs, restrictions, and hypocritical handshakes. It's June 10th, 2025, and in London, in the lavish setting of Lancaster House, the world's two largest economic powers are meeting for a second round of negotiations. Their mission, to save a fragile truce secured a month ago in Geneva before everything collapses into trade chaos. But ask yourself, who's really pulling the strings in this trade war? Why are the markets hanging on every word spoken in that secretive room? And most importantly, you sitting there in front of your screen, do you know what this means for your daily life, your dreams, your future? Today, we're taking you behind the scenes of this high-stakes summit, where every decision could shake your wallet, your job, and even the planet. So, stay with me. This is urgent, this is critical, and it's happening now. And if you're not subscribed yet, honestly, you're missing the big picture. To stay informed, you need to be in the right place. And that place is right here on the Carlos Lucas channel. Click, subscribe, and stay awake. Let's start with the facts. And they're stubborn. Yesterday, Monday, June 9th, the United States and China began talks in the utmost secrecy in London. The venue? Lancaster House, a 19th century mansion near Buckingham Palace, a setting straight out of a spy movie. Why London? Because it's neutral ground, far from the spotlight of Washington or Beijing. But don't be fooled. This isn't just a meeting between diplomats in suits. It's a battle for control of resources, technology, and global economic power. A month ago in Geneva, the two countries signed a sort of economic ceasefire. The US slashed its tariffs on Chinese goods from a staggering 145%, yes, 145%, a dizzying figure, to 30%. In return, China lowered its own from 125% to 10%, all for 90 days, a temporary truce to cool things down after months of a trade war ignited by Donald Trump in April. But the numbers don't lie. In May, Chinese exports to the US plummeted by 12.7%, dropping from $33 billion to $28.8 billion. That's a slap in the face for the Chinese economy, but also for American consumers, who are already paying the price of this battle with higher costs, emptier shelves, and factories running at half speed. At the heart of this standoff is a strategic treasure: rare earths. If you've never heard of them, listen up, because they're the crux of the war. These metals, of which China controls nearly 70% of global production, are essential for almost everything that keeps our modern world running. The batteries in your electric cars? Rare earths. Wind turbines for the energy transition? Rare earths. Missiles, radars, satellites for defense? Rare earths again. Without them, everything grinds to a halt. But since Trump launched his trade crusade, Beijing has slowed exports of these precious metals. American companies which rely on them for high-tech and military industries are crying out for help. Kevin Hassett, Trump's economic advisor, summed it up on CNBC. In Geneva, they promised to open the floodgates, but deliveries are trickling in. Translation: China is playing for time and the US is on edge. On the other side, Beijing isn't sitting idle. They want a deal. Fewer restrictions on Chinese students in the US, access to advanced technologies like microprocessors, and an open door for their tech giants to American consumers. But Trump, true to form, remains vague. "We'll see," he told the press. "Thanks for the clarity, Donald." But let's not be fooled by smooth statements or media silence. The big newspapers will talk about negotiations and truces, but what they don't say enough is that this trade war is a fight for global supremacy. Last week, Trump accused Beijing of not honoring the Geneva Agreement, threatening to pour fuel on the fire. Then, as if by magic, a very positive phone call with Xi Jinping, according to Trump of course, calmed things down. Result: both sides sat down at the negotiating table in London, but the atmosphere is as tense as a violin string. The US delegation is led by Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary, Howard Lutnick, the Commerce Secretary, and Jameson Greer, the Trade Representative. On the Chinese side, we have He Lifeng, the Vice Premier, flanked by Wang Wentao, the Commerce Minister, and Li Chenggang, a veteran of international negotiations. These names might not mean much to you, but they hold the keys to a deal that could change the game for billions of people. So what's really at stake in that plush room at Lancaster House? On one side, the US wants to secure rare earths at all costs. Hassett dreams of a frank and firm handshake that would unlock Chinese exports in large quantities. Why? Because without these metals, their tech and military industries are at a standstill. In exchange, Washington might ease up on some tech restrictions. According to sources close to the matter, they're considering loosening measures on chip design software, aircraft engine parts, or nuclear materials. But the latest NVIDIA chips, the ones powering AI and supercomputers, remain off limits. Too strategic, too sensitive. It's a tightrope walk. Each side wants to give as little as possible while taking the maximum. And Trump, with his inimitable style, sums it up. China's not easy. No kidding, but China isn't just negotiating with the US. While He Lifeng plays diplomat in London, Xi Jinping is weaving a geopolitical web worldwide. Last week, he called South Korea's newly elected president, Lee Jae-myung, to discuss multilateralism and free trade. Translation: Beijing wants to rally Asia to form a united front against Washington. And that's not all. China is offering the European Union a green channel to facilitate rare earth exports to the bloc. Why? Because the EU, like the US, needs these metals for its climate ambitions, electric batteries, wind turbines, you name it. An EU-China summit is planned for July and Beijing wants to come in strong. It's a strategy worthy of a chess grandmaster, divide and conquer. Meanwhile, mainstream media barely mention these maneuvers, preferring to focus on Trump's tweets or rumors of US concessions. But we dig deeper because that's the kind of journalism that shakes things up. Let's step back and analyze what this reveals. This trade war is the OPEC of the 1970s, version 2.0. Back then, oil-producing countries used barrels as a geopolitical weapon. Today, China is doing the same with rare earths. But there's a glaring contradiction. The US wants these metals to accelerate its energy transition, batteries for electric cars, wind turbines for green energy, yet at the same time, Trump's tariffs are slowing imports of Chinese green technologies like solar panels or battery components. Result? Prices soar, climate projects stall, and the planet pays the price. Compare that to what's happening elsewhere. The EU, for instance, is trying to diversify its rare earth sources, investing in mines in Australia or Africa. But those projects take years, and in the meantime, China has everyone by the throat. Does it seem logical to you that we're sacrificing the fight against climate change for economic squabbles? Now let's talk impacts, because this war isn't just playing out in boardrooms or stock markets. In the short term, it hits your daily life directly. Tariffs and rare earth shortages are driving up the prices of everything. Your smartphones, your computers, your electric cars. In May, the 12.7% drop in Chinese exports already slowed global supply chains. Store shelves are emptying, prices are skyrocketing, and small businesses in China and the US are taking the hit. In the medium term, jobs are at risk. In the US, tech and automotive industries depend on rare earths. Without them, factories slow down, workers get laid off, and entire communities plunge into uncertainty. In China, the drop in exports to the US hits factory workers and small entrepreneurs who rely on the American market. And in the long term, this war is reshaping the global order. If China succeeds in strengthening its alliances with Asia and Europe, the US risks being isolated on the world stage. And on climate, it's a potential disaster. Without rare earths, no high-performance batteries, no large-scale wind turbines, no real energy transition. Carbon neutrality goals, they're slipping further away with every Trump tweet or blocked shipment. And the markets, they're on tenterhooks, like casino players betting everything on a rumor. An analyst from Swiss Quote Bank, Ipek Oskardeskaya, talks of cautious optimism. The US might make concessions on tech restrictions, and that's enough to boost stock indices. But one misstep, one clumsy Trump tweet, and everything could collapse in a day. This instability doesn't just affect Wall Street traders. It hits small savers, those with retirement plans, mortgages, or who are just trying to make ends meet. And for the youth, it's even worse. You, the 20, 30-year-olds dreaming of a fairer, greener world, you're inheriting a system where the great powers fight over metals instead of uniting for the climate, for equality, for a livable future. And honestly, are you even surprised that you're left picking up the crumbs of their economic wars? So what will come out of this London summit? A frank handshake, as Kevin Hassett dreams, a deal that unlocks rare earths and eases tensions, or a new flare-up that plunges the global economy into chaos? One thing's certain, this trade war isn't just about tariffs or metals. It's a fight for control of the future, your future. It affects everything: the prices you pay, the jobs you hope for, the planet you want to protect. So, ask yourself, who's really paying the price for these power games? Chinese workers, American consumers, the global youth, or the entire planet. Share this video, talk about it with your friends, on your networks. Tell us what you think in the comments, because your voice matters. And above all, stay awake because this fight is yours too.